Good afternoon, I'm here with Chris Fisher, as he's betting on the blind Woodturner. Chris, thank you so much for your time today. It's really great to get some questions to ask for you.
No, that's cool, it's my pleasure, and you're most welcome.
Good to hear, good to hear. So Chris, if you don't mind me asking straight away, could you just tell me and the people at home a little bit about your story?
Well, we have to go back to October 2008, and I woke up one morning with really blurred eyesight, didn't know what the problem was, so went to the optometrist, got an emergency referral, and 4 weeks later I was totally blind due to a condition called toxoplasmosis.
What amazes me so much about this is, at what point did you turn to woodturning specifically? Because I've heard, actually, you're an avid movie fan.
Yeah, I do love movies, especially horror films. I always have.
Brilliant.
Since a very young age. So after about 4 or 5 years of being blind, I got this idea in my head that I would like a vampire steak as a piece of horror art. So I knew that I wanted to do something a bit better than just whittle a piece of wood out the garden with a sharp knife. So I listened to YouTube for 600 hours and assimilated as much information as I could about the craft and the art form of wood turning. And 600 hours later, bought a lathe and taught myself just by touch.
Well, you certainly threw yourself in the deep end, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It's an amazing craft. It's very technical, and there's an element of danger using very sharp tools and powerful high-speed machinery. But
of course,
I just fell in love with it from day one and just persevered. And since then I've put in thousands upon thousands of hours of practice.
Well, I suppose that's the actual craft, isn't it? It's the commitment, the time, and it becomes not only a part of your life, your life itself.
Yeah. Well, my life now has evolved into me being the country's only totally blind, accredited professional woodturner. So it's my job now, and I have a brand associated with it, and I travel the country giving public professional demonstrations, public speaking. So yeah, my life has changed, so much since I first went blind, but I'm loving every minute.
And that's such a huge and, if I may say so, brave transition from what to me sounds like a really, really daunting and rather terrifying moment of your life, to then suddenly find this goal, this craft, this aim, and this innate skill. If you don't mind me asking, is there anything you'd like to say for the viewers at home, for people who, seem lost, or seem like they have no goals, or seem like they don't have a sense of direction? How would you speak to them?
Well, what I'd say to them is never ever give up. Believe in yourself. Get that passion, that confidence, that tenacity. That I now have. I suffered with debilitating anxiety after going blind for 4 years, and I had panic attacks, muscle spasms, hallucinations, and felt really, really ill. And I'm so glad that I didn't give up. I pushed myself so hard, and I'm here to show everybody that anything is possible. I want to inspire and motivate as many people as I can through my YouTube videos, my public demonstrations and public speaking, that, they think they're having a bad day. Well, I can tell you what a bad day is. And, anything is surmountable. Just believe in yourself and never ever give up. Like I say, not dead, can't quit.
I like that. I really like that very, very much. And I think the world's a much better place for people like you, innit, Chris?
Well, that's really kind of you to say. I'm loving the journey so far, and like I say, the bottom line's always been inspiration and motivation. So hopefully a lot of people from all walks of life can hear my story, see what I'm doing, and just say to themselves, well, if Chris can do it, so can I. Yeah.
Well, I'd hope to think that you've got some of that journey still ahead of you.
Long way to go. Yeah, you never master an art form like this.
No, you do not.
So that's part of the fun as well.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Thank you
so much for today, Chris.
Cheers, John.
I considered myself a lucky person. A year ago, I came across a gentleman called Chris, who's also known as the professional blind woodturner. One day, I noticed that he's looking for a video production intern, and I'm interested in filmmaking. So I applied it and was offered an interview shortly after. I got the job, and it's a very rewarding experience to work for such an inspirational and determined person. Chris and I are good friends now. My family even paid him a visit during Christmas. right before COVID hit us. Soon after the outbreak, I had to return home. The flight back home was a terrifying experience to say at least. Further adding to the terror came when I started my mandatory hotel quarantine. The isolation and unknown of the entire situation was daunting. Frankly, I battled depression and was very devastated at the time, but thankfully, I was able to return to my family. The time before dawn was, and still is, the darkest. Look after your loved ones and those around you, and tell them, and I'm telling you as well, you're not walking alone, and we are going to defeat this virus together.